Are you looking for a deeper understanding of life? Vedanta Wisdom Trust and Rishihood University present Awakening Wisdom, Insights on Life from the Bhagavad Gita. Join us for a 1-month residential certificate course and explore the timeless wisdom of the Gita. Understanding of life? You will be part of a vibrant learning community, exploring the ancient teachings of the Vedantic tradition in a modern setting. Our experienced faculty will guide you with their unique approach towards understanding this complex philosophical text. This is your chance to discover and experience the power of the Bhagavad Gita. Join us at Rishihood University starting 1st July 2023. Visit www.vedantawisdom.in to know more.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verses 1 to 10.
अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः अर्जुन उवाच एवं सततयुक्ताये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तम् तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम् सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामम् सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिरवाप्यते। ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम् मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अथ ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततः मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि.
Any questions on what we have done so far?
Jackie, just want to clarify something, Jackie. The trajectory that we discussed was form worship, formless worship, and then enlightenment. So this means that form worship is optional, but formless worship is compulsory. Can we say that?
I don't know. You can say that, I suppose, but it depends on your spiritual level, isn't it? If your spiritual level or your comprehension of things is lower, how can form worship be optional for you? Then you will, at that stage, have to do it, right? I mean, what would you do instead? How would you do your spiritual sadhana without a form? So I don't know why you would say that was optional. And then, of course, we come into what all do you call, what all are you accepting under form?
For simplicity's sake, we just say that any physical form is a form. I mean, technically, by Vedanta, everything is idol worship, right? Everything is an idol. Even the sound mantra, that also will be an idol.
Yeah.
My reasoning came because of Adi Shankaracharya never did form worship, right? Because he skipped that part, or maybe he's done it in a previous lifetime or whatever. But he was choosing to do a formless worship, right?
No. Firstly, that's not true. And secondly, even if it was true, that doesn't mean it is optional. It means he has already done it before. He set up all the mats and all he set up. All the mats have all this. He's written all the stotras, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. I mean, you can't say that he didn't do it, but suppose, for argument's sake, somebody didn't do it, anybody didn't do it. That just means he's done it before. It doesn't mean it became optional on that logic. I mean, suppose you were born as a sannyasi to begin with, then you've already done the earlier portion. So based on that logic, you can't say it's optional. You can suppose you say for the highly developed person is optional, then okay, maybe you could say that. That's why I'm saying maybe you could say that, but not on the logic that you have just given.
But formless worship has to be done anyways. It has to be done.
Yeah, that's again, you will have to use something from this world, right? You will have to at least call it Brahman or Allah, something you will have to, something. So yeah, that sort of formless, yes, of course. Because you'll have to verbalize it in some manner or way. Verbalize it or concretize it, whatever way.
Thank you.
So, line of thought clear, Arjuna asked the question, why, who are better, those who worship you or those who worship the formless? Please notice that in Arjuna's question, he has used you to mean the form. Please note that, otherwise somebody asked me also, and I think Milind asked me on YouTube, because since he has used, shall I worship you, or those who worship you, and those who worship the, what is the words he has used, the formless, the avyaktam, the aksharam, the imperishable, the unmanifest. So he said it like that. So therefore Krishna answers by saying, worshipping me, meaning the form. I hope that's clear. So when he says me over there, he means the form. He doesn't mean formless. He means me because the question was like that. You or the formless. So he said, worshipping me is the best. Then he went on to say, those who worship the formless will also reach. But their difficulty is more. Why is their difficulty more? Their difficulty is more because look at what they have to do along with it. To say, okay, I will worship the formless is easy, but look at the characteristics he has given of the people who will do the formless. Having well restrained the senses. That means you are a complete master of your senses. You are not a victim of your senses. That means you can enjoy the objects of the world, not because they overwhelm you, but because you have chosen to do it. Many times we are forced into enjoyment because it is overwhelming us. Means our mind is driving it. But when the intellect says, see, you're here to enjoy yourself. I mean, you have senses, so why on earth would you not enjoy them? If you enjoy a good gulab jamun or a good mango nowadays, or whatever in the world you enjoy, why would you not enjoy it? Every time you eat a mango, you don't have to check, is it a sour, rotten mango, then I will eat it. Not like that. You enjoy it. Be with it fully. When you're having a mango, that mango should be your whole life. There's nothing other than that mango. That's how you will enjoy it. So to enjoy things is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But for your mind to drive that enjoyment is what gets us into trouble. So if you are looking for, if you have been thinking in terms of formless worship, he says, sanniyamya. Sanniyamya means it is a labanta. That means having done this thing. Having done what? Having done control. Means having controlled, fully control the sense. That means neither your eyes, nor your ears, nor your tongue, nor any part will make a demand on you and go for it without your intellect's approval. This will simply not happen. You have done this. Sarvatra samabuddhaya. You have equal vision towards all things. Please understand how this is working. Why do you have equal vision towards all things? Because you consider all things useless. Useless doesn't mean that you're negligent towards them, but useless means in the final counting, in the final measure of all things, it really doesn't count. How does it matter? Tonight I got a very good dream. Last night I got a very bad dream. How does it matter? My life continues as is, isn't it? So you begin to understand this about life. See, we when you are deciding what to wear, for instance, and then you say, shall I wear this or shall I wear this? Shall I wear this or shall I wear this? But even 2 weeks later, will you even remember what you had worn? In the final countdown, how does anything? When you failed a test at 5th standard in school, how it must have broken your heart? How embarrassed you were. I remember getting bad marks once. I got some 58 or something. I didn't cross 60. So embarrassed about it. I could not tell anybody. It was so horrible I felt about it. Now I look back and I say 58 or whatever, 58, 59, whatever I got. I didn't make it to 60. Some arbitrary figure, we have in our mind. It has to be 60. Because they tell us 60 is first class. So if you get 60, you're a good student. If you get 59.9, you're a bad student. So you get less than 60. So it's so embarrassing and so, it breaks your heart. It's like, my God, I did so badly. How will I tell anybody? I don't want to ask my friends marks because I don't want to hear what they got. So you couldn't bear it. All of that, so much trouble. And yet today, does it matter whether that was 50 or 40 or 60 or 80? How would it matter? So a few years down the line, it doesn't matter anymore. It's going to be so useless a few years down the line. And why is it mattering so much to me today? Somebody's been a little rude to me. Somebody has some failure I have made, some success I have made. Walking down the street and I bumped into Amitabh Bachchan and I said hello and he said hello. When he went his way, I went mad. So big deal, right? No, this didn't happen. I'm making up these stories, okay? Don't come here and say, oh my God, in Santa Cruz, it's wonderful. You walk down and then you meet Amitabh on the way. No such thing happened. Just telling you, if it happened. He go his way, I go my way. Life continues, right? So, sarvatra samabuddhaya. You are generally balanced about things. That's what it means. So you're getting so excited about something that, oh my God, this happened and oh my God, that happened. Okay, things happen. That means you're alive, right? Someday you're happy, someday you're sad, someday you're up, someday you're down. That means you're alive. When you're dead, nothing, you'll be neither happy, nor sad, nor up, nor down, nor anything. So you go through all this only means we're still alive. Check. Am I feeling anything? If I'm not feeling anything, I'm probably dead. So that's all. That's the only reason you should know you're feeling something. I'm still alive. Now, once you're able to have that sarvatra samabuddha, remember when it said formless is difficult. Why is it difficult? Because you have to have already controlled the senses. You're already non-excitable. Non-excitable doesn't mean you're not having a good time. It means that you can take things in your stride. Things are not throwing you off every time something happens. Some people lose a job, it breaks them. Some people don't lose a job and that breaks them. So all sorts of weird things are going on over here. So, sarvatra samabuddhaya. I will only be concerned about things that should be concerned about. That's why the word kartavya is such a nice word, because it's just grammar. That word is just grammar, to do. The verb is to do. And then there is the word, the grammar for that which ought to be done or should be done. Kartum yogya. What is yogya, what is proper, what is fit to be done is kartam. I don't know what will come out of it, but I will do what ought to be done. Because it is the right thing to do. So, sarvatra samabuddhaya. You feel the same about all things because
they don't matter.
Yes, why do they not matter to you?
Because you're hooked onto something better.
Very good. because something else matters. And that other thing which matters to you is what you have sought down and decided is the most important thing. And every one of us, for ourselves, should know the answer to this question. For myself, I should know. What is the most important thing? What is that crux on which my life revolves? We should know that. Then my focus is on that thing. You know, like a top. Have you seen a top? A top revolves, it's movement. So where is it revolving on? Only on its little, what do you call it? And if it doesn't do that, it'll fall. Exactly like that with us. If we don't revolve on what is the most important thing, we fall. We cannot be sarvatra samabuddhaya. So who is this person who can do formless? Number one, he's in control of his senses. His enjoyments are not a pressure on him. Most of our enjoyments are because there's some pressure on us to enjoy. There's an urgency, there's a pressure. We behave towards all things like, there's an emergency. All enjoyment sound like an emergency to us. Abhi hi karna hai. He doesn't. Number one. Number two, sarvatra samabuddhaya. Same buddhi, same attitude towards all things, because he knows what is the most important. He's not moving from that. And third one, sarva bhuta hite rataha, revel in the welfare of all beings. No complaint.
Loka Sangram.
No jealousy.
Yankini Loka Sangram.
Sorry?
Loka Sangram.
Loka Sangram. Loka Sangram refers to more towards working for the welfare of people. That's how it's usually looked at. This is Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. It's similar, but a little different in the sense that you are able to enjoy the happiness of others. Have you seen nowadays they show these videos where they send some child? And not many videos, you see it. When a child is just, the other day somewhere I saw this child, he was running away from his mother. And she was telling him, come back, come back. And he was very excited at the idea that he was able to leave her. He's running hardly 3 feet away. And she was saying, come back. And he was going, ha ha. He was so excited about it, and everybody around were also excited because he was so happy that he was, he must have just started walking or something. So he's running away from his mother. She didn't have to, she just had to sort of stretch out her hand, she would have caught him. But he was so excited that he could run like that. And everybody around him was so happy because he was running like that. Why can't we enjoy everybody's happiness like that? When we all see the child laughing, they say, oh, see, they send you videos also. This child is laughing about something. That child is laughing about something. The most idiotic things. I don't know if you've seen these videos. Some Jack in the Box comes and the child goes, no, I'm not so excited that the thing has come. Have you seen all these crazy videos which they forward? Children are just happy. And all the adults are very happy to see the children happy. Do these adults say, what a stupid thing this child is happy about? What is there to be so happy? No one say that, no? Then why do we say that to adults? Oh, somebody got a new car and he's like very excited. You see how stupid, he's so excited about his car. But the question is, why are you not excited about his car? You are happy to see that child run 3 steps that child is running. And everybody is so excited to see that. Excited because the child is excited. He thought he was doing something very naughty by going away from his mother. And the mother has not caught him, so he was laughing away as if, kuch teer maar liya. And everybody else was laughing with him. Can't we enjoy the happiness of others? It's so difficult. Just happy because other people are happy. As Oliver Goldsmith says, I'm a lover of happy human faces. So this we find difficult. We're very judgmental about other people's happiness. So 3 qualities he has given. We want to be for worship, formless worship, genuine formless worship, then 3 things. Remember what they are? Each, everybody went to sleep. What are the 3 things you have to have along with formless worship?
Control the senses. Control the senses.
Control of the senses, number 1.
Same attitude towards
Rejoicing the happiness of others.
What is, okay, number 2 was what?
same attitude
All
towards
around the same.
Sorry, Mitali, I couldn't hear you.
same attitude towards all things.
Same attitude towards all happenings of the world. Same attitude. And 3rd, same attitude. I hope you understand. Doesn't mean that if some person dies, then you go, oh, how wonderful. Somebody who gets first prize also, you go, oh, how wonderful. Not like that. But you generally can take things in your stride. It's okay if things happen. Okay. And the 3rd one is
Revel in the welfare of
reveling in the welfare of all. Very good. 3 qualities that have to accompany us when we are doing formless worship. Yes, Mukesh, you had a...
Hello, good morning, Janki. Just to think about revel in the welfare of other human beings. Well, why is it that when it's so you give an example of a child running and everyone's excited, happy, yet like your neighbor got a car, for example, and you become very jealous. But why when a child is, if you're taking a child and adult, why that difference in that happiness in yourself?
Because of the difference of levels. See, competition is always at the same level. When one is higher and one is lower, there's no competition. That's why we can enjoy the happiness of all children. But we cannot enjoy the happiness of equals. But when we grow above all humans also, I mean, we are just generally, more mature than the people around us, then we enjoy their happiness just as we enjoyed the child's happiness. So competition is always at the same level. But the moment it is higher and lower, all competition goes away. Like that famous example of Muhammad Ali, often we have spoken about it. Have you heard it, the Muhammad Ali example? Muhammad Ali was in a supermarket one day and this small puny chap, they bumped into each other. And when they bumped into each other, this puny, small chap he was, and he sort of said, watch where you're going, man. And Muhammad Ali turned to that fellow and he said, sorry. And that fellow whacked him and said, you ought to be. So Muhammad Ali did this and he continued. The reason it was known as it was taken on the store camera. Now, when that chap whacked him, he gave him one. And he said, you ought to be. Muhammad Ali all needed to just turn around to him and say, excuse me, sir, I'm Muhammad Ali. That chap would have fainted. He didn't have to do anything. But he didn't. He just shrugged and he walked off. Now, is Muhammad Ali going to get into a fight in the supermarket with this small tiny chap who he can do foo and that fellow will blow off? And yet, if the same thing had been done by Mike Tyler, can you imagine what would have been the brawl over there? The whole supermarket would have come down. So competition is never between higher and lower. It's always between equal.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bharat?
So is formless worship that difficult? Because if a person is able to relate to the idea of abstraction, maybe that's what he's fit for. Or is Krishna just showing a mirror to Arjuna at the moment that this is not you?
For a person who is capable of formless worship, all these qualities will be much, much easier. So if you claim that they're not easy for me, then you have to check. They would be much easier, because why would you be so carried away with the senses anyway? Or why would you not consider everything equally anyway? I mean, any reasonably mature person does that, right? Think of any reasonably mature person who you know. They don't get so carried away with some enjoyment. They can take it or leave it. Also, when things happen, they stay more or less balanced. See it, sort of put it in real life, because we're not studying a theoretical subject, studying real life. So look around you. Think of people who, according to you, are more mature, more balanced. Don't they just behave like this? And they don't get into competition with anybody or anything. Anyone who has a strong sense of self is least worried what somebody else is doing. So it's not that tough, these qualities, but we all have to improve at them. So if a person is so carried away with everything and says, I want formless worship, it doesn't really work like that. Most intellectuals will be balanced about things.
Okay, thank you.
But so really to understand that these qualities are qualities of maturity, you see what he has said for the earlier ones. Now, it's not that you do form worship and then you're free. You need not do anything else. Not like that. So read what he has said. Those who are doing form worship, what are the qualities he has given for them? Those ever steadfast devotees. First quality. If you want to be worshipping the form, first quality is your ever steadfast. Ever steadfast means 365 days. Not I love Krishna on Janmashtami. No, I love Krishna 365 days a year. He is my priority. Not like every once in a while I wake up and realize he's also around somewhere. 365 days, 24 hours, 7 days a week, he is my highest priority. That is ever steadfast. Fixing their mind on me. No other thought. Ananya Chinta. Worship me endowed with supreme Shraddha. Do their actions as a methodology of reaching the self, and are going to continue doing this until they do reach the self. These are the qualities that go with form worship. These are the things that we have to do. In form worship, he says, those who have already done these things. Means if you have done form worship, that means you have covered all these points. And because you have covered all these points, now you are a reasonably balanced person and you're able to understand the all-pervasiveness of the Lord. So question was, form is better, formless is better. He says form is better because for Arjuna, form is better. But he's told us that if you're doing form, then you need these characteristics. If you're doing formless, then you need these characteristics. So far, so good, everyone.
Janki ji, one question. In this world, who is doing formless worship?
Who is doing formless worship?
Worship. No, anybody is doing formless worship?
I'm assuming most people in this class can relate to some degree of formless worship at least. Why?
I'm just asking.
We don't know, Milind. It doesn't matter who does and who doesn't. What is important is, if we are doing formless, then do we have these characteristics? And if we are doing form, then do we have those characteristics? That's what's important. And this is indicated to us by the word but. Remember, his question was, shall I worship form or shall I worship formless? That was his question. He said form. And formless is also okay, but you will have to, but it is more difficult. Right? Then he goes,
Yes.
Then he goes and he says, but. Now he says, why did you have to say but? Everything is clear, no? Arjuna, for you is form worship. Those who do formless, they also reach. But means neither is the form important, nor is the formless important. What is important is the qualities that go along. Are you going to be an ever steadfast bhakta? Are you going to be in control of your senses and all the other things? Those are the important things. Whether it's form or formless, those are just symbols. It doesn't matter one way or the other. What is important is what is the sadhana you're doing. So therefore, he goes on to say, but it is the sadhana which is important. So that's what he's saying. Those who worship me, renouncing all actions of me, regarding me as supreme, meditating on me with single pointed yoga. So he's come to sadhana. What is important, my friend, is not whether you think there's a form or what your concept of God is. All this is not important. What is important is, are you doing your sadhana? So that's what he begins with saying, that, but please do your sadhana. Don't talk about form and formless. That is your personal decision. You do whatever you want about it. What you do is get down to sadhana. So what is sadhana? Sadhana is meditation. There is only one sadhana in this world. And that is meditation. There is only one way to reach the ultimate reality, and that is meditation. There is no other way to do this. However, it is just like saying there's only one way to become a medical doctor. There is no other way. And that way is to pass the MBBS final exam. Is there any other way to become a doctor? No. There's no other way you can become a doctor. If you want to become a doctor, you have to pass the MBBS final exam. So then suppose Momita says, oh, that's wonderful. If I pass MBBS final exam, then I will become a doctor. I say, yeah, of course, that's the only way. There's no other way. She says, okay, tomorrow I'm going to give the exam. Will she become a doctor? No. Why not? Because though that is the only way, you can't go to that way. To go to that way, you have to do 5 years course before that. That's what you have to do. So people say, or everybody says, oh, meditation is the only way to realize the self, correct? Without meditation, you cannot realize the self, correct? Therefore, meditate. Wrong. That's where we go wrong. You can't do it. Just like you cannot go to give the final year MBBS exam. So he says, what is the sadhana? The sadhana is meditation. So I hope you're getting it. He says, but he says, what is important is the sadhana. What is the sadhana? It is meditation. What is meditation? We should take it as open eye meditation. Being able to keep our thought on our eventual goal all the time in our life. We have to be clear about where we are going and what we are doing to achieve it. The day will get over. The year will be over. Do you realize we're already in May? It was just about the beginning of the year. It seems only yesterday. And now we're already in May. The day will get over. The year will get over. Life will get over. Either you were focused on your ultimate goal or you were not. It's that simple. Because the moving time goes on, you can't stop it, right? Just going on and on and on and on. And either you use that moment in what you thought was important, or you didn't. Either you got carried away in some futile thing, or you did what according to you was the important thing to be done. You can watch cat videos, or you can, whatever else you think is worth doing, do that. Yeah, Omkar Bhandare.
Good morning, Janki ji. So your consistency of sadhana would decide whether you do a formless or a form worship, is my question.
No.
Okay.
No, why? There are different characteristics. If you are the type of person who does form worship, then you will be a certain type of person. You will probably be a more emotional person. You would probably be a kind of person who can associate with more concrete things than abstract things. You'd be that type of person. So for that type of person, he needs to have the goal set very well. And he needs to do every action to reach that goal and whatever characteristics he has given. The other type of person is, maybe a scientist, an intellectual. You tell a scientist or an intellectual that there is God, they can't deal with you. They don't know what you're talking about. They can't fathom it. There was one chap, and they're extremely rude about it. They don't understand the other side. There was one chap, all these atheists in the Western world, they make such a mockery of Christianity. It's not funny. Like somebody has done this whole thing about Noah taking two animals on the ark with him. So he says, that's very strange. Imagine if it is raining, it's beginning to rain. Is this the first thought you will have? Let me build an ark and then to collect all two of each animal. And how, he's saying, how is this done? How do I get 2 mosquitoes? And how do I get 2 giraffes? And how do I send out a message saying, get me 2 squid, get me 2 of everything? How do I do this? And if I take 2 lions and 2 tigers with me, with all these other animals, when I come out, when that ark opens finally, there will be only 2 tigers and 2 lions left, because they were eaten the whole lot up. I mean, they make a mockery of the whole thing. They say, how on earth is it possible? And that's how an intellectual treats. They'll say, what nonsense. Similarly, every story there in Hinduism or Islam or Christianity or Judaism, they make they trash it, completely trash it. So they can't possibly be told to worship the form, right? So they are told what? Are you sure you're in control of your senses? Are you sure that you are enjoying the happiness of others? Are you sure about these things? You be sure about that. Don't worry about who is doing what. So it is, the consistency is similar in both. In both cases, they'll be similar. In the form worship, he has to be trained to be, trained to be. Omkar, are you still there?
Yes, yeah, I'm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in events form worship, he has to be told, keep your mind there, keep your actions there. In formless worship, you don't need to be told this. You will naturally do that. So what do you need to check? That can I enjoy the happiness of others? Are all my senses in control, or is there some part of it which is not? So these qualities, it's got the single pointedness for the formless is very easy. It's not a big deal for them. It is difficult when it is a form.
Okay.
So that's why it is about you growing up. A person who can deal with the abstract does not forget his goal at any point.
Okay. So these qualities are like pointers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jay?
Janki ji, Generally, worshipping means bhakti, na? Like chanting bhajana or kirtana, in which matlab when I am fully involved in it, when I am praying, when I am offering my prayer to whatever form, that evokes a kind of emotion which makes matlab gadgad ho jaunga, tears may fall down, and is it that sentimental nonsense, or it is
Correct.
something to do? What is this worship? Actually, what is worship, Janki?
Worship should always, wherever you see the word worship, understand it as pursue. When you say pursue, so whatever you are pursuing is what you are worshipping. So if you're pursuing money, then you're worshipping money. If you're pursuing God, then you're worshipping God. Just an emotion doesn't count as a pursuit or a worship. Worship means what are you pursuing in life? Means emotions, that is the thing, they come and go. For everybody who's in this class today, I'm sure, we should do some research, so if anybody is interested in research, we should start doing that. Everybody in this class would have gone through a period where, not would have gone as if it's in the past, will go through a period where they're very inspired with Vedanta. And they think this is it. And it touches their heart. Every lecture sounds to them like this is fantastic. After some time, that emotion will go away. You won't feel like that anymore. Now comes the real beginning of the sadhana, where are you doing it regardless of what you're feeling about it? And if you pursue again, or one day, your mind will be very inspired with some idea and take up something and do that. After some time, again, the mind will lose enthusiasm. But our sadhana is how consistent we are going to keep doing it. I may feel great, I may not feel great, I may be inspired, I may not be inspired, but this is my goal and I'm going towards it. So pursuit means, worship means that, not just an emotion that I've been through. The emotion is very useful because when that emotion comes, you can do fatafat, you make your mind do a few things. So that way it's useful. But even if it is not there, this is still what I'm going to do.
So I worship with my body, mind, and intellect, all three. But somehow I felt that, Vedankiji, I always felt this Bhakti Yoga is more to do with my heart. That's what somehow I felt.
That's correct.
So
Bhakti Yoga has to do with the heart.
And that mind has got no logic. Heart has got no logic. I just simply bow down to you. My intellect may have questions, but no, I just bow down to you, or I surrender. I kind of वो गदगद का feeling आ ही जाएगा. So I felt that is bhakti.
That is bhakti. That is correct. So the mind has to feel devoted. The intellect has to struggle to understand. And in that struggle to understand come questions. If the mind does not experience devotion, then the mind will be like doubting and suspicious and all, and so no knowledge goes. So when the mind is devoted, it calms down. In that calm mind, the knowledge starts manifesting better and better.
Janki ji, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Salil, just a second, just see what Omkar is saying. To the proportion, one is emotional, one worships the form, and to that proportion, one is intellectual, one worships the formless. Is this correct? Yes, this is a possibility. How can one be identifying with both, the form and formless, even if in different proportions? It's not that you're identifying with both, it is that, I don't know, how do you do it? You listen, but Omkar, you listen to a lot of bhajans, don't you? You are very fond of music. You listen to a lot of bhajans and you've heard the abhangas, right? So all the abhangas are to Vitthal or whatever. So when you're listening to that music whatever, or you're listening to a beautiful bhajan like Ram ka gunagan kariye. Have you heard that one, Omkar?
Yes, I love that.
Love that. No, it's a fantastic one. Ram
It's
ka
really
gunagan.
beautiful. It's really beautiful. Kumar Gandharv singing that.
No,
is-
no, Lata Mangeshkar and
No, Kumar Gandharv has also sung it.
how is it?
Lata Mangeshkar and Bhimsen Joshi have sung it.
Bhimsen Joshi, yeah.
So Kumar Gandharva, even I haven't heard, but so Kumar Gandharva has sung so many beautiful. Oh, Meri Naiya, what is that Naiya? My boat has started going fast. I'm sorry, I convert all this into English. So, Meri Naiya goes fast, whatever it is. So anyway, so many beautiful bhajans. Now you're listening. Rama ka gunagan kariye. Who are you thinking of? Are you thinking of Brahman? Or are you thinking of Ram? Or are you thinking of, see, you can focus differently, right? You can say Ram ka gunagan kariye. Imagine this person, okay, who, like Maryada Purushottam. He is portrayed as the epitome of sabhyata. Sabhyata. Ram Prabhu ki sabhyata ka gaan kariye. What culture must be in that person? He's at the top of the pyramid in terms of virtue. He says he is so good that his name decorates virtue. He is so good. Goodness is decorated by him. For the rest of us mere mortals, if we are good, that is our decoration. But for him, he is the jewel that decorates virtue itself. So that's how beautifully that song is. Now, when you think of it like that, what are you thinking of? You can be inspired by the figure of Ram. You can be inspired by the concepts that it's talking about. You can just be in the silent zone where it's just beautiful music and you are in the, you have great feelings towards the formless reality. So it's all up to you. I mean, in the same bhajan, you can do it all, right?
Yes.
Or that lovely other one. I don't know if the rest of people not from Mumbai may not know this one, but it's a beautiful bhajan which says, Vitthala tu Vedha Kumbhar. O Vitthal, Vitthal is another name for Vishnu. O Vitthal, tu Veda Kumbhar. You are a mad potter. Tu tsa ghadavito. You are creating. Tu tsa tadito. You are breaking. What on earth are you trying to achieve out of this madhouse, he's saying. And you make it, you break it. Why are you doing it? You're a mad potter. It's a very, very beautiful conception. So now when you're hearing this and you're very inspired with these things, what is it that you are being inspired by? You don't have to do this analysis, but the thing is in our mind and heart, the whole thing is going, isn't it? You don't have to do any great analysis, but both the form and the formless, you're okay with. You don't have a problem with that. Okay, Amkar?
I had one question, ma'am.
Yes, one second.
That's a very-
One second, I'll come to you. I have a long list.
List.
Okay, Amkar?
Yeah, actually, food for thought not very clear because there is a slight amount of confusion also because so for example, when I'm in let's say Nath Dwara Srinaji temple, because I have all my life rather I was born in a family that is devoted to that particular form and I identified with it. I still feel that, but sometimes a lot of the things that associated with now don't make that much sense to me. So there is a slight amount of confusion, I would say.
It's not confusion, it's natural growth. If Nathji is your idol, then Nathji is your idol and you continue with that. Then some parts of what the people around do will not inspire you, so you don't need to do that.
Got it. Thank you.
Salil? Salil, weren't you saying something? Who was saying? Saroj? Is that you?
No, madam, I was saying something.
Huh. No, well, Salil, did you have a question?
Yes, he had before.
So, okay. Kalyan?
Yeah, Janki ji, it's interesting what Omkar brought about, that is it particular identification with through devotion or through intellect, etc. But I was referring to the 35 qualities of the Bhakta and then the next chapter about the 20 qualities. It almost seems similar, right? So irrespective of whether you are a Bhakta or a Jnani or whether you identify with a form or formless worship, those qualities are what, I mean, there seems to be no distinction. So at one level.
Yes, so there are two separate things. There is where you are, and there is what you need to do. If you and I are both at 20% spiritual growth, okay? You and Jay and I are all three at 20% spiritual growth, right? Then, and you are, let us say, Jnani, and Jay is, let us say, Bhakta, and I'm, let us say, a Karma Yogi. All right? 3 people at 20%. All 3 people at 20% will see and be the same kind of people. What the 3 people need to do will be dependent on whether they are intellectual or Bhakta or Karmi. So their sadhana is based on the kind of person they are. But their comprehension of the truth is based on their level.
Yeah.
Imagine a hill. 3 people are climbing the hill. 3 people are at an elevation of 1,000 feet. Okay, all 3 will see the same thing. But based on where particularly they are, their path will be slightly different.
Yes, got it. But just other question is, then Krishna knows Arjuna is mostly a karma yogi. So why is he giving lectures on Bhakti Yogi and Jnana and all that?
Because everybody has to do all 3. Mostly, right? He still has to do all the rest.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Janki ji, sorry, my audio was not working at that time.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So from the Advaita Vedanta's philosophy, I mean, I guess when you bring a form into the picture, that brings duality, right? So from that point of view, Advaita Vedanta basically goes towards the formless thing, right?
Yeah, but we don't look at it as what Advaita Vedanta says or what Bhakti Vedanta says. We have to understand it from what is done at different levels, at which level am I at, and what am I supposed to do. It is not learning philosophy. It is learning what is the placement of these various things and at what level am I supposed to be doing what. It is more for our systematic sadhana than for, what is Advaita Vedanta and all that.
No, but I guess, eventually, till we are attached to the form, it's difficult to, realize the unity of everything, that everything is one.
Correct.
So eventually we need to progress towards that.
Yeah, but progress is an effect. We have to understand the cause. When we are attached to the form, we have to live with the form. We don't have to break the attachment and do something else.
No, it's an understanding we have to develop, right?
Yeah, but we continue being the people we are. If it inspires me to worship, say, Shiva, then Shiva is what I should worship. I should not say, but eventually, we have to reach the formless. All that is not my concern. If I'm inspired by Shiva, I have to worship Shiva. What I will do when I grow up, I will grow up and then I will find it.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chandran.
Good morning, madam. Madam, in line with what you had said a few minutes back, when you say Ram, what comes to your mind? Is it the Brahman or is it the form of Ram? Now, I remember when I was doing the 6th chapter, the meditation, the same question, what has happened, I think in 6th chapter, we are told there's a syllable Om that you have to concentrate on and do the meditation, and slowly intellect and they all and the mind vanish, and then you realize. Okay? So my question, luckily for us, we've been given a jap by a guru. Let's say Om Shri Keshavaya Namah. So I asked the teacher, what happens in a situation like that? Here the 6th chapter is saying, say Om, while we've been given a guru mantra which says XYZ, Om Shri Keshavaya, Om Rama. He's saying the answer is very simple. When you say Om Shri Keshavaya Namah, for instance, what comes to your mind? Is it Brahman or is it Krishna? If you can get over that phase where Brahman comes to your mind and there is no form of Krishna coming to your mind, you're okay. So then the Om and the Brahman can be interchanged or replaced. So you concentrate on only Brahman at that time. So was the answer, was it correct? Just to clarify further, that's about, or reinforce what I thought.
It doesn't matter, even if suppose your mantra was wrong.
No, Om Shri Kesha, Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Full.
Whatever the mantra is, mantra X.
Okay.
You stick with your mantra.
But what
stick with your comprehension of your mantra.
But what should come to my mind?
Nothing. You be natural. You think what you think. That's it.
So, but if the form comes, it'll be a distraction.
No distraction. You should get up from meditation and not meditate. If the form comes, your meditation is not for you. For a person for whom the form comes, meditation is not for you. Then puja is the thing for that person. He should do puja. He should sit quietly, maybe in front of the idol, not meditate. So we have to not, what should I say? We are not fooling around with our personalities. We'll become a mess. We go with what is comfortable to us. There is nobody telling us ki ye karna hai, wo nahi karna hai. Nobody should tell. Nobody has got the right to tell us. Be comfortable, be yourself, do what if the form appeals to you. Krishna himself has said do the form. So what have we got against the form? We've got nothing against the form. Conceptually, you have to understand that God is all pervading. But for me, Rama sounds the most impressive, most inspiring, or Krishna sounds the most inspiring, or Shiva seems the most. So what's wrong with it? Or Christ or Allah or whatever in the world you find inspiring.
In other words, if the form is not coming to my mind, I'm getting Brahman in my mind, then I'm on track. I should continue the way it is. It's only when the form comes to my mind, I'm not ready for it.
That's not the criteria. The criteria is the qualities. That's why I said, no, if you're doing formless, then do you have these qualities? Sarva bhuta hite rataha. Sanyam samya indriya gramam. Control the senses, enjoying the bliss of others. Sarvatra samabuddhayaha. All the same buddhi everywhere. All those are the things that come. Not the rest. Omkar, intellectual would appreciate the lyrical composition of bhajan and feel devoted. Yes, sir. Okay, so that's it for today.